Welcome to the Cool Tools Show. I'm Mark Frauenfelder, Editor-in-Chief of Cool Tools, a website of tool recommendations written by our readers. You can find us at cool-tools.org. I'm joined by my co-host, Kevin Kelly, founder of Cool Tools. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, it's great to be here.
In each episode of the Cool Tools Show, Kevin and I talk to a guest about some of his or her favorite uncommon and uncommonly good tools they think others should know about. Before we introduce this week's guest, I want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters. Patreon is a great way to support everything Cool Tools does, including our newsletters, podcast, video channel, and our flagship review website. This week, we want to give a shout out to Jay Walker and Nikolai Teleguin. To become a patron of Cool Tools, visit patreon.com/cooltools. Our guest this week is Travis McElroy. Travis is a podcaster, a best-selling author, and a really cool person. I know that for a fact because I spent time with Travis at the JoCo Cruise 2019, and you will not meet a friendlier, funnier, more gregarious, interesting person. How's it going, Travis?
Wow, what an endorsement. Thank you.
And it's all true.
It's going well. I try to be friendly.
Good.
I try to be gregarious, as you said. It is one of my many traits. I try to make everyone feel welcome in the space. I'm doing, considering all things, quite well.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. And your family, who I met several members of your equally delightful family on the JoCo Cruise. I trust that they're all doing okay too.
Yes, and it's grown a little bit since then. We had another baby Dot, is my second daughter.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And Griffin and his wife Rachel are about to have their second. They're at like 34 weeks now. So like any day now, another one.
Wow. That is amazing. Well,
yep.
Very cool. It's a good family for growing because it's always fun hanging out with you all.
Thank you.
A little bit later, we're going to talk about a book that you actually wrote with some of your siblings about podcasting, which I think is going to be amazing to talk about. And I learned a lot of stuff reading that book, even though I've been doing podcasts myself for about 10 years. But first, what we're going to do is jump into some of the tools you've picked for us. And the first one up is a really cool looking manicure kit. Tell us like what it is in this, what it looks like, how you use it, all that good stuff.
Oh my goodness, Mark. A plethora of tools. So I am slightly fastidious, one might say, when it comes to my appearance. And I don't know why, but I get really hung up on like nail cleanliness and like nail shape. And I think I have nice nails to begin with. I took up painting my nails like 7-ish years ago at this point. And even before then, though, like I like to keep my nails shapely. And so in this kit, you have, let's see, I'm just looking at it right now. This is the kit I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different pieces within the set. And it's like this sleek black on red kind of looking set. It's really cool. And there's a lot of options, and it makes me feel like I'm taking good care of my nails.
Yeah, look, and so it's made by Aurora. Is that the name? Aurora. Okay. And do you know, is this the only kit of its kind that they make, or like where did you discover it?
Well, I've gone through a couple of different nail kits in the past. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this one was given to me by Teresa as a present for something. Because like the one I had before this, pieces of it just kept getting taken to different places in the house until eventually there were like 2 left in it. And I was very frustrated by that. And it was also not nearly as like in depth as this kit is. This kit that I had before had like 10 pieces in it. And so then Teresa gave me this one. And what's great about it is it very much feels like a toolbox, right? Where you would have like as many different tools as there are needs within it. And it kind of feels like you're getting down to business, when it's time to, you know, to sculpt those nails. And I don't know. It's one of those things of like, people have asked me before what it is about like painting nails and like taking care of nails that I really enjoy. And there's something about it that, one, is kind of very like Zen to me. And I don't say that lately. I practice and study Zen, and but it's very Zen to me because you're just like doing these little minute like detail work, and you're kind of focusing all your attention on like such a small space. And then it also feels like a little bit like preparing for battle, and not like battle and like I'm going to go fight someone, right? But like when I'm getting ready for the day or getting ready for a big event or anything like that, the like shaping my nails, painting my nails gives me like a task that I am doing to prepare myself that feels like very active. And
That's
so
cool.
I think that's why I like it so much, because it feels like, even if I'm not like dressing up, you know, putting on a suit or something, like I could still do this thing that feels like a now to prepare. And it feels like a little bit ritualistic, you know?
So I'm just looking at this. I'm seeing some very like interesting esoteric tools. Can you tell me like about one of them, and like one of these specialty tools, and what you how it works?
The
Just pick
best
one of.
one. Oh, Mark, the best one. Oh, my favorite one. Right. The like fourth from the right is a little Y-shaped tool. And
Okay, that one stood out to me.
yeah, so that one, it's on either edge of the inside of the Y is an edge, is like a sharp edge. And it then you can get underneath the nail no matter which side you're using. And it's like a scraper to clean out. And it is very well designed in that it really kind of is exactly the depth you need without like going into your nail bed, at least for me. And has this is so dumb, but it's got like such a good feeling with the blade. Like it feels like it's scraping but not like cutting anything off. It just feels like, it reminds me of like, you know, the like paint scrapers, and how really satisfying that feels to use, right? It feels like that, but like on your nails. But because of the shape of it, it can't like go too deep, and you can't. Before I got this kit, I had a really bad habit of like cleaning my nails with a pocket knife, just whatever I had with me. And you run the risk there, right? You're using this like huge blade to just to tiny jump. And with this, it's like the perfect size little tiny blade to like scrape underneath your nails. And it just feels very satisfying.
Oh man, that's so cool. I've got to get this kit because I make a lot of videos where I'm like holding a tool or something,
Right.
and then I'll like all of a sudden see in the video like my thumbnail has a little bit of dirt under it, and it's just like it's not a good look.
No, it really, like, I watch a lot of ASMR videos, and they will do these like, you know, kind of top down shots where they're like showing their collections of things sometimes. And if it's like, and here's a gnarly looking fingernail, and I'm like, whoa, buddy, I'm out of it now. Now this is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, totally. All right, so that's the Aurora nail kit. We'll find a link to it so people can check it out. That's such a good one. Let's talk about a microphone, the Shure SM58. Is that the one you're using right now?
Well, here's the thing. The one I'm using now is a CAD E100S, which is a primarily used by like voiceover artists. And it works very well. Here's I don't know if you know this, Mark, but the thing about microphones is there isn't really a best one. There is a best one for your voice. And so a lot of people use the Shure SM7B, which is kind of looks a little bit like a longer tube shape with a large like black foam like kind of end over half of it. And a lot of people, the CAD E100S, like I said, is used a lot by voiceover artists. But the reason that I included the Shure SM58 is it is the workhorse of the audio industry. It is the most reliable microphone that I know of, to the point where we do a lot of live shows now, and it is very rare, like maybe 1 in 20, that a theater isn't using Shure SM58s.
Wow.
They like everybody uses them. They it's about $100, and it's an XLR
Hmm.
microphone. But the thing about it
Well,
is,
what does that mean? What
so
is XLR?
XLR is if you look at the back of a microphone and it has like 3 or 4, or I guess however many, but like a pin that a
Hmm.
cable would plug into. And
Hmm.
it's like a circular, cable would plug into it. That's XLR.
Okay. I think I know what you
Yes.
mean.
And primarily I'm sure there are other ones, but the other ones are like USB microphones, at least in podcasting, where you would plug,
Hmm.
I believe it's a USB-C into it or
Hmm.
something like that. USB-B maybe. And then it plugs USB into a computer. But the Shure SM58 is durable, like to the point where I let my 4-year-old like play with mine, because it's like even if she drops it, nothing's gonna happen to it as long as she doesn't like submerge it in water for a long period of
Hmm.
time. It's gonna be fine. Like these are like people's touring microphones. Like there are like stand-up comics that will bring their own Shure SM58s with them. Like
Wow.
there are like musicians, singers that will like tour with their SM58s. And they're durable, and what's great about them is they're also very flexible in their usage. You can use them, like I said, on stage, right? And they're very good like in front of a crowd to like amplify. So sometimes with microphones you will run into in front of an audience that are not picking up when you blast it out, right? It's not picking up enough, and it will sound kind of like tinny. It'll sound kind of hollow once you turn it up loud enough.
Mm.
And then the other problem is sometimes if you take a microphone that is designed to use in front of a crowd and you put it in a recording booth, it will just sound really blown out
Hmm.
because it's picking up everything.
Right.
And the Shure SM58 can do both. It works great in front of a crowd. You can record with it like in your home booth. It works for either one of them.
That's cool.
It is incredible. It's an incredible microphone. And there's like no moving parts. There's no switches. There's no nothing. So like there's nothing like mechanical really to break on it. It'll last you forever. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So when it's plugged in, it's on.
Right. Exactly.
You don't have to worry. Oh, that's um is it good for, would you recommend it for podcasting? I imagine you need some kind of like adapter box to be able to get it to eventually get it to like USB or.
Right. So that's the thing is if you go with a USB, I would and we talk about this in the book, spoiler, but if you're just starting out, I highly recommend starting off with USB. There's like
Hmm.
Yeti, like Blue Yeti, Blue Snowball are both good options. There's like a bunch of like USB microphones. If you're doing XLR, you have a little bit more control over it because an XLR usually, or you have to go through some kind of interface, and that
Hmm.
interface will have a dial or knobs or like sliders or something that let you
Hmm.
kind of very specifically control. Also, if there's like 3 people recording in the same room, you kind of have to go with an XLR because a USB, usually your computer can only recognize one USB at a time unless you set up
Hmm.
like special programs that let you kind of recognize each of them. But even then, it can get a little interference-y.
Hmm.
But so there's a little bit more investment in doing the XLR, but once you're ready to make that commitment, like the Shure SM58 is an amazing place to start. Like you can get that microphone and then never have to worry about it again, basically.
That's so cool. That's a great one. Okay, so your next one, this is really good. Uh, I remember when I met you, I admired your nails. That
Thank you.
each nail was painted a different color. I really loved the shirts that you have. You have like a great collection of amazing shirts.
Thank you.
And then you also have fabulous hair. And
Thank you very
so
much.
you're going to share a secret about your hair care
Yes,
with
indeed.
us.
I want to talk about leave-in conditioner. and specifically a kind that I use, number 4 Lumiere de Hiver Super Comb Prep and Protect.
Oh my God. That's the
Um,
name.
yeah, that's the whole thing. And there's like a whole set. It's also the same like hair styling product I use is from the same company. But the thing, so when I was a young man, a young foolish man, there was a period of time in which I did not like how much body my hair had. I thought it was like too poofy. So like I'm talking like when I was like 13, like I wore way too much hairspray and I wanted it to like stay down. I wanted my hair to stay down because it always wanted to like stick up. And I hated like cowlicks and I hated all that thing. In retrospect, if I could go back in time, I would have said, okay, just let your hair grow a little bit, my dude, and that will fix a lot of the problem. But it was also a couple of things that I've learned since then. One, do not shampoo your hair every day. This is not good. It's bad for your scalp. It's bad for your hair. Your hair has natural oils that occur within it that will make styling your hair easier. It's easier to style dirty hair than it is clean hair. So if you're going to get ready for something, wash your hair the day before. Do not wash it right before the event. And 2, when you wake up in the morning, if you are like me, and you end up with like wild bedhead. My bedhead, even now, my hair is like down to my nose and it will stand straight up when I wake up in the morning. It is bonkers. I'm like breakdancing in my sleep or something. I have no idea what's happening. But this leave-in conditioner is perfect to like spray your hair down and get your hair wet and brush through, or it will help keep your hair soft and manageable for longer without showering. And it smells great, smells amazing, and it will help you like style your hair in the morning if you have some wild and crazy hair. Now, I would also recommend there are special water bottles, like spray bottles that you can get where it is not aerosolized, but it is designed in such a way that as it sprays in like a mist. So it gets more of your hair wet at a time instead of just like spraying like a Windex bottle. So the combination of this like kind of spraying water bottle and this leave-in conditioner is part of my secret.
I love it. That's a great.
It's not all of my secret, Mark. I can't
Just
give
part
away
of it.
all. I can't give away all of my hair secrets.
No, you can't. You don't want there to be Travis McElroy wannabes out there.
No, yes. Everyone's hair would be amazing, and then I would just be one of the crowd, you know?
Would you be?
Ugh.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
thank you.
Well, thank you for giving us a glimpse into
No problem.
your routine. Okay, so your next product is something that's commonly known, but I imagine you have a special reason for picking it. It's the mighty Sharpie Pen.
It is my preferred writing utensil. It is for a birthday present, a friend of mine got me like a box full of personalized Sharpies. Like I love them very, very much. I have literally my CAD E100S, the microphone I'm currently speaking into, comes in like a really nice box, like a wooden case. And I emptied it out and now use it as Sharpie storage, and it sits next to my desk. And there's like 100 Sharpies in it, mostly black, but like different colors, some gold, some silver, couple bronze in there. I find the Sharpie to be reliable. I find it to be satisfying to write with, and I write pretty dynamically. I write in all caps all the time. So writing in Sharpie just feels right for that. And 2, I also have really large hands. So like a Sharpie is significant. There's something you can really grab onto it.
Right.
It really feels like a thing. And my love for it came from for 5 years, I worked as the technical director for the Cincinnati Shakespeare Company. And the thing is, sometimes if you're writing down measurements or you're like making a to-do list or something, you don't always have paper. So I would just like have a Sharpie and like grab a scrap piece of wood to write on. And it like didn't rub off. And so like I would sometimes just take like a 2-foot by 3-foot chunk of like plywood and write everything that I needed to do to finish the set, finish the, the tech on it, and then just carry it with me like something out of the Flintstones. And like for writing on stuff like that, man, it does not beat Sharpie. And like still to this day, I just find it like it feels so permanent. And I also at the time will admit I was also writing a lot of notes on my skin, which I do not do now, mostly because I work from home and I have paper everywhere. But once again, man, if you're going to write on your skin, nothing beats Sharpie. It's not going anywhere.
Sharpie's the way to go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's something very satisfying about that line that a Sharpie makes.
Right. And I also now get to go to like conventions and stuff, and occasionally do like signing things. And man, like you can't beat Sharpie. Like nothing else does it. Like
you really can't.
If you're gonna sign a picture, if you're gonna sign a thing, you gotta have Sharpies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. Yeah, and the way that it will write on a glossy surface is great. Nothing else does that.
It's incredible.
Yeah. That's good. A great pick, Travis. That's
you.
A good one. So in the time we have left, I want to talk about your new book that you wrote with your brothers. It's called Everybody Has a Podcast Except You. And you guys, you and your brothers, I think have done what is it, like 12 podcasts together or individually and together?
Yes, I believe at this point, still operating, there's like 11 or 12, but we have done more than that over time. We just don't still do them. I think we did a count and it was somewhere between like 25 and 30 that we have done at some point in history.
Wow.
Yes, so too many.
You've got that kind of experience under your belt. And it also kind of speaks to the world of podcasting now. And you're right, everybody does have a podcast. There are so many. So how can someone cut through the noise today and start a podcast and get an audience?
Well, I think one of the things we talk about in the book and is I think the amazing thing about podcasting is while subject matter is important, I think what everybody can bring to it, literally anybody who does a podcast can bring to it, is their own individual personality. Because I think that what makes podcasting such a fun medium is it gives you a chance to just really be yourself and bring something to it that no one else can, which is you. And, like there are so many like bad movie podcasts where you talk about like bad movies. And the thing is there will never be enough of them because everybody will have a slightly different take on a movie, or they'll have a different way of discussing it, or there will be different chemistry between the host, or 1,000 other things that will change inherently the properties of the show and make it unique. And so I think that part of the importance is like pick a topic that you just love talking about, because I think the thing that makes, at least for me, and I think a lot of people, but the thing that makes podcasts specifically interesting to me when I'm listening to it is the interest the hosts are bringing to the subject. I love listening to people talk about something they're interested in, even if it's not a subject I inherently care about. If they're like bringing enough excitement to it, it's addictive. It's like that excitement spreads. I mean, the thing is the still in this year 2021, the best way to find out about podcasts is like word of mouth. It's the best way for podcasts to grow. It's like the number one way, because like to Mark to your point, the best way to grow a show is to sincerely and enthusiastically ask your audience to tell other people. And the way I find new podcasts is I'll go to my brothers or I'll go to my friends and I'll say, what are you listening to? What new things? Or I'll go on Twitter and say like, hey, here's the kind of things I like. What should I check out? And now I will say, luckily, more and more podcatchers are adding like recommendation features where as you're listening to a show, it will say like, if you like this, check this out, which helps a lot, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes just like, doing an internet search, as the kids would call it, for like podcast plus whatever subject matter you like will bring stuff up. And then it's just kind of a shot in the dark. I did that when the new Twin Peaks was running. If I was like, I went to listen to people talk about this so that perhaps I can try to understand what is going on in it. Spoiler, I never did. But I then like was listening to podcasts featuring people I had no idea who they were, but they were talking about the new Twin Peaks, and I was able to kind of like be part of that conversation with them, which is the amazing thing about podcasting. But yeah, man, some kind of directory would be incredible, though I think it would be perhaps a Herculean effort to try to categorize.
Travis, if someone is interested in starting a podcast and they don't really have the kind of knowledge about like getting it set up on Apple's podcast application, is there a easy platform you would recommend where someone can basically just like plug a mic into the computer and start talking and have it published and ready to listen to?
Yeah, there's a couple. Anchor is a hosting site that is pretty user friendly. That like will do it, most of it for you. Simplecast is one that we use now. Most of our shows are hosted on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's also everybody has a podcast except you has a pretty step-by-step guide on what you need to do. Not to tout my own book, but we literally wrote it to be a like step-by-step, start to finish, like everything from picking a title and a topic to like editing to putting up the audio on a hosting site to getting it on to podcatchers like Apple podcasts and all kinds of the ones you can think of, to like what to talk about in specific episodes, to recording techniques, to like everything. So, but if you are not wanting to buy my book, which I understand, books are for nerds, you can just like, there's a lot of YouTube tutorials, but they won't be as good or as funny as my book.
Your book's great. It does have your humor in it. And it also just has a ton of technical information, like you said, everything from, the equipment that you need, your great recommendation about recording it in a closet that has like a lot of clothes and jackets to give it that nice kind of dead sound that you want with no echo. And you do talk about getting it into Apple Podcasts, how to build an audience, using social media, all that kind of stuff. Highly recommended. And there aren't really any podcast books that I've seen that are as all-encompassing. And so I think this is the one to get.
Well, thank you. I think so too. I
Absolutely
hope that it will usher in a whole new era of podcast, the golden age of podcasting, beginning with the publishing of our book.
That sounds good. Travis, this has been really great talking with you. And this book is a way to learn how to overcome a lot of the problems that I think a lot of newbies and probably even experienced podcasters like us go through. So thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us.
No problem at all. I'm just happy to be here.
Hey everybody, it's your co-host Mark, and I wanted to let you know that we have a lot more going on here in Cool Tools than just this podcast. We have our flagship website where we review a new tool every day. That's at cool-tools.org. We also have 4 different newsletters. We have this podcast. We have a YouTube channel where we review tools. And if you like what you hear and see and read, the best way to help us out is by going to our Patreon page at patreon.com/cooltools and donate at any level you wish. You can even contribute $1 a month, and that would mean a lot to us. The money that you give us will go towards paying for our transcribing costs, editing videos, and editing the podcast. It goes towards paying contributors who write the reviews for us. It goes towards our equipment costs, our hosting costs, and it supports our very small company of 3 people. This week, I wanted to give a shout out to some of our Patreon supporters who have been giving us at least $2 a month. And if you give us $2 a month, we'll give you a shout out online. And this week, I would like to thank Michael Sakochia, Molly Starr, M. Velderman, Opposable Thumbs, Pamela Cooley, Patrick Weyer, Paul Hosey, Randy Fisher, Stuart Burrows Brand, Synaptic Sam, Therese Schwartz, Tom Hawkins, Tom Markham, What Bear, Javier Pangolin, David Lang, Eric Byers, Sean Hartley, Stephen Powell, Greg Lichtscheit, John Hobson, Adam Bristol, Adam Naher, Anonymous, Bill Kempthorne, Bruce I. Niles, Chris Woodruff, C. Kolos, Daryl Flynn, Egg Fleegoff, Eric Hanschrau, Eric Hoover, Godfrey Saldana, Jay Skiles, John M. Larson, Jude Galligan, Kenneth Gilman, and Lucas Frank. Thank you very much for supporting the show, and we will see you next week.